I'm Bill Heran, the author of The Missing Piece. Today is May 12th. The topic is sensitive speech. The quote is from the famous book Tao Te Ching, and the quote goes: "The insignificant man makes the demands of others. The significant man makes demands of himself." Let me repeat that to make sure I got it right. The insignificant man makes demands of others, while the significant man makes demands of himself. Tao Te Ching. Speaking, especially without much forethought, has been grossly overrated. We talk about free speech or politically correct speech, but the most important impactful speech, especially when it pertains to inner peace, is sensitive speech. Our restless minds often hijack our speech, and we verbalize our fears, excuse me, positive and negative comparisons and reactions to perceived threats from others. Much of our speech is filled with agenda. We often speak of others over others, we indicating our lack of listening to the other person, just waiting for them to finish speaking so we can get our word in, sometimes at all costs. Sensitive speech is connected to a person's heightened degree of awareness, a level of consciousness that is expressed through intentional, non judgmental speech. It is when you are considerate of the other person when speaking in a dyad, for example, channeling speech through significant degrees of respect, regard, and at all times awe. In this type of speech, we are aware of the power of speech and how it can hurt others, spread falsehoods, or engage in gossip. This forms of speech usually promotes restlessness and discontentment. Speech, or samavaka, is usually one of the eightfold paths of the Buddha, which are prescriptions for the elimination of suffering. Buddhist teachings define this type of right speech as the opposite of harsh, divisive, and meaningless speech. Through a mindful practice of right, sensitive speech, we become more conscious of what we say and what the impact it may have on others. In Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, the first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. Being impeccable with your speech brings a certain degree of credibility, trustworthiness, and authenticity. Practicing sensitive speech can teach you about yourself, knowing what triggers you and what inspires you and what confuses you. The beauty of sensitive speech is you don't need to say a word. Withholding unnecessary speech can be exactly what the situation calls for in the moment. So today, let's practice sensitive speech and experience the newness and beauty of taking a pause before speaking or not speaking. Thank you for joining me today in the Missing Piece reading. I look forward to you joining me with future readings of the book. Thank you.